Rebecca, this is my wife, Julie. And as you can tell, we're working parents.
Buenas tardes. My name is Julie Rivera Tapia. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Coronado Elementary School. And Rebecca is not here because she is a working parent who had the opportunity to pick up a few extra hours tonight for her 7:50 job. So she had to do what she has to do for her children. Over 1,000 working New Mexican parents are now on the wait list for a child care voucher. What would you do to get rid of the wait list and stop punishing working parents such as Rebecca, who couldn't make it tonight?
First in line would be Mr. Lopez. I'm sorry, Senator Lopez.
Do I get a microphone? Or? I can project pretty good, but no.
I will pull the cord though.
Okay. Sometimes for some of us politicians, you may need to pull a cord. My name is Senator Linda Lopez. Welcome to my district almost. I am on the west side of Coors and the South Valley. Been a state senator for 14 years. So I know these issues very well when you talk about funding for the child care wait list. I served as chairwoman of the Welfare Reform Oversight Committee. We dealt with about $38 million that we put into child care, but it never was raised sufficiently. Back in 2 years ago, 2008, we did a movida, as I call it, in New Mexico State Senate during a special session, and we were finally able to bring up with some extra dollars that we had to raise it up to 200% of federal poverty level. And I've been carrying a bill for many years trying to get it up. Many of you in this audience know that. I've been an advocate. I'm a single mom. I have a 9-year-old. I work for a living too. So I understand the balance of what you have to do to find care. It takes a neighborhood to raise a child. I do that every day for what I do as a senator and everything else that I do. So I know I can identify with many of our parents in our communities. But when you talk about the issues of what we can do, we have to talk and educate more of our politicians about the value. We talk about it, yes, but we have to make sure that we dedicate money, not just from our federal block grant dollars that come in, but looking at state monies. It's a fight, it's a constant battle that we have to do because of all the other competing interests. But I know, whether I'm elected as lieutenant governor or still as a senator, we will continue to keep the fight and make sure that funding stays there. And lastly but not least, in 2008, I was awarded the Early Childhood Award for the champion for that year for ECAN. Thank you.
Next in line is okay, we got a little confusion going on here. Okay, sorry about that.
The only way we're going to reduce the waiting list is by coming up with more money. That's why there's a waiting list. We didn't have enough money. We used 2 streams that have been drying up. We need to have money directly funded for child care services, not use money from the block grant, because what's happened is, with the downturn in the economy, there are many more people on welfare, the block grant's all going for welfare, we have less available there. Then we tried to use tobacco tax money, and when the governor vetoed the food tax, he grabbed the $14 million we had dedicated to child care and early childhood programs and put that into in an attempt to plug the hemorrhaging of the rest of the budget. We now have a serious problem. We're going to have to address it in January. The only way is with higher taxes. I'm convinced we've cut as much as we can possibly cut. Now we have to raise money, and the income tax is the place to get that.
Wait for the timer. Do I get a ready, set, go?
As soon as you start.
Okay. First of all, welcome and thank you for coming. And obviously, it's great to see this group that really cares about early childhood and early childhood development. And that's why I'm representing Lawrence right now. He will be here in a while. Because I've had a great deal of involvement with Lieutenant Governor Diane Dennis and working on a number of programs on a number of boards on early childhood development, probably know a lot. Jerry's absolutely right, there needs to be more money. I mean, right now, there's only, in terms of pre-K, only 15%, there's only 5,000 kids, 4-year-olds, that are being served. That's 15% of our state's population. There needs to be more money. However, to find that money comes from two different ways. One is reprioritizing. I mean, because you got to look at the money that's being spent and say where are things less important and where are things more important. And there is no, if I get a chance to talk more, there is no more important to put it into early childhood and kids. No place. The other is it needs a strong private sector support, which there's a lot of programs going on to get, and this is what's going on across the nation, is true public-private partnerships that make the pot of money that support children under 5 much bigger and much stronger, and really so we have a complete culture, both on the private and public side, that are investing in this most important thing we can do.
We'll get used to this passing of the mic business. Mary Lou and Luis, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to be here with you, Ole. It is truly a very important issue when we talk about quality early childhood programming. And when we think about why is it so important, is that 85%, and many scientists have said, 85% of the mind development has occurred by age 5. So if we are not grabbing our kids by age 5, we are really doing them a disservice. So we really have to be putting funds where it should be. And in fact, when you look at the Federal Reserve, they have said that there is no better program to invest in than early childhood. In fact, it's an 18-to-1 return on investment. So the private industry and business has understood that the investment in early childhood is one of the greatest investments we can make. So now why can't we do that and get our elected officials to understand this? See, I voted for the tax on the higher income. I voted because we needed that $68 million so we wouldn't have cuts in education and in Medicaid. These are very important issues for the state of New Mexico, even though it didn't pass the Senate. It did pass the House. We had a lot of tax increases that would have taken care of us and gotten us through this hurdle, because it is a Band-Aid that we have right now. But if we want to fix the big picture and take care of early childhood and education for the long term, we got to start looking at a new economy, a new green economy that's going to create billion-dollar opportunities for good-paying jobs for our young people, so 58% of our college graduates won't have to leave. And I can keep on going.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Ole, for hosting us in the Working Parents Association. My wife is a teacher, so she understands very keenly about what it is like to try and teach students who have both parents that are working or being raised by single parents. Let me specifically say that obviously resources are going to have to be increased. It can't be with the food tax, which is a regressive tax. We have to go to a progressive tax system in New Mexico. The 40% tax rollback for the richest New Mexicans that happened in 2003 have to be reevaluated. Those have to be back on the table in order for us to fund important programs like early childhood development. The Lieutenant Governor currently has done a tremendous job of increasing the dialogue that takes place when it comes to early childhood development. We know that even people like Don Chalmers, if you can believe it, who's an incredible entrepreneur, very conservative Republican, a leader in the Republican Party, even he agrees that for every $1 that we invest in pre-K education, it comes back to New Mexico 5 times. And that data is statistically not just relevant, but it's critical for us to continue the conversation, because we've got to have it on both sides of the aisle. And when you've got advocates like Don Chalmers standing with the Democratic Party saying it's time to invest in our young children, that's when we can succeed. The conversation has begun in this coming legislative session. We've got to now act. We've talked about it, now we've got to do it. We've got to do it with increased revenues to early childhood development.
Thank you.